Hello, sword friends. Last time we demonstrated working with a synthetic sword against our replica sword, and Billy Pell here, my friend, and working those transitions between Finestra Sinestra and Finestra Destra, left and right, and back and forth, using that to initiate Fiore's exchange of thrust, where we're beating the spear aside and then stepping back into counter thrust. And I gave some hints about how that was useful in a couple different ways maybe we could approach that. Again, we're not yet talking about entries and how to set up for this. We're talking about it in isolation in this situation. Of course, this is not the only situation it can be useful. As you can guess, the sword is not the only weapon that is useful to do this. So I have another shaft, and there's no head on it, but we're going to pretend this is a Fiore-style footman's spear, which is roughly my height. It would have a spearhead, a nice pokey thing on there. And we're going to pretend Billy's also trying to thrust me. Bad Billy, don't kill me. So what we're going to do here is undertake to understand Fiore's use of the spear from Posta di Finestra. I will say, I don't think that there are many good interpretations of this, at least that I've seen in the past. Let me show the first interpretation that typically people use. And I don't particularly like this. I don't find it very useful, and I find it very slow and clunky. So, with Fiore's spear, an important note is you have to grab it roughly the length of your forearm. This is the max you can grab up here because you have to be able to bring the butt of the spear around your body. And this kind of dictates where that is. It could be a little more, it could be a little less. So that's where our backhand has to grab it. And within Fiore's system, Posta di Finestra on both the left and the right is shown with the wrist cross and the wrists a little bit apart, allowing for space between armored gauntlets. The spear is shown primarily in the armored section. Today we don't have any armor. He shows taking the position against an opponent, but he doesn't really say what to do. He just says you can do the exchange of thrusts. In most interpretations I've seen online for an exchange of thrust from Finestra looks something like this. And then drive in. I don't like this for several reasons. I find this coming across the body in this way to be very slow, very clunky, and there's lots of things that can happen on this left side of my body that I really can't cover very well against a skilled opponent. People I fought. I don't like this. I don't think it creates a very good use of Finestra. There seems to be something more Finestra can do. Maybe we've discovered it with the sword work I've shown. So Billy, come back. Pay attention, Billy. Come back. Billy's now, again, pointed at my center of mass. I'm going to take, even if Fiore's Posta di Finestra, let's see here. On this side, it's here. On this side, I'm going to keep this position of my hands. They're not crossed. Technically, for Fiore's Posta di Finestra, it's this way. But I hope you'll see in just a moment why I'm doing it this way. I'm going to keep my guard open. And I'm going to take just a little space because spears are longer and the thrusts happen over a longer distance. I need some room to play. Again, this is not yet a full tactical thing. This is, in isolation, a technique. So, again, Billy is pointed at my center of mass. As I shift away into Finestra on the other side, it's that same thing. And then as I shift back, I can thrust. I'll agree, this is a very weak thrust, but I can set it in drive. In armor, against mail, maybe not with many of our simulators, but with a steel weapon or a hard-pointed weapon against a piece of mail, it's going to stick and catch in the rings, allowing you to drive through. My supposition. So again, Billy's pointed my center of mass, and I'm not exactly pointing at Billy. I'm looking maybe through the center of mass of my spear as I rotate around into Finestra, moving my center of mass to this leg. Billy's behind he went from my center of mass to behind my back, and I'm controlling the spear. As I come back around, I can do what other people have talked about doing from Finestra, which is controlling it with the side keeping his spear point there, stepping through. Again, maybe that's a weak thrust, but I can drive. I have protection and cover. I have the spear set on point, very close to my target, and I can push through and do something to Billy. You'll be okay, Billy. I'm not going to hit you hard. So play with this. As I mentioned, Fiore's Sinestra, Destra, or Sinestra, is typically shown this way. And it'll open up the hands on this side. And even, so, come here, Billy, pay attention. Here, open the hands up. That's a pretty good thrust. So, you can play with both ways, see which one works. Until next time, I hope this has been a fun exploration. Again, this is something I've come up with in the last 24 hours. New thoughts for me. If they're not new thoughts for you, please share. I'd love to see your demonstration and discussion where your art maybe applies this tactically and creates entries and openings. Until then, have a good one.